Hey there, it's PK Beats. You know the color brown? No? Well, now you do. Have you ever thought about how brown is essentially just dark orange? If you go into something like Photoshop and use the color wheel, go to the orange section and just make it darker, bam, you've got brown. For certain demographics, this is as common knowledge as the fact that red and blue make purple, but I know that for some others it's not that intuitive. The color is a bit more complicated than that, but it's a pretty intriguing food for thought that I felt like sharing. Anywho, with my microphone fixed and my spirits low, let's get on to some more Smash facts. Valentin Macias asks if Mario's jump does more damage to Steve's blocks. You could probably assume where they're coming from with this question, given Mario Jumpman Mario's job history. I'm conducting this test on Stage Builder with the steel stage material. That way the only building material we get is the iron block, which is the sturdiest. This will make testing a lot more reliable. And here, both Mario and Steve take 3 jumps before they destroy the iron blocks. So Mario was not given added block destruction power with his jumps, which is, well, totally expected. Something that cool would probably be highlighted by Sakurai himself. But this does lead me into some more block breaking questions. First being from Dried Cheese, asking if a character's weight will affect the rate in which a block is destroyed from them being on top of it. Steve is slightly lighter than average, while Bowser is the heaviest character in the game. And when they both stand on the iron block, its rate of destruction doesn't seem very different. I can't really get the same timing by testing it like this, but with the power of editing, we can put these 2 clips of them standing on it together and see that outside of human error and timing, the rates in which the blocks get destroyed are essentially the same. Lastly, Devilish Jester asks if Metal Slash will insta-break iron blocks. This is the question I was honestly most intrigued with, as you can imagine, but unfortunately Metal Slash does not insta-break the block. It does its normal damage to it, which is not that much, making it much less effective than something like, say, a forward air. Sticking to Steve though, the Pied Piplup gives me a fact regarding his down air and POW blocks. That is, when you use your down air, you're kind of on your anvil, right? Well, you may not have noticed this, but when someone activates a POW block while you're falling from the down air, you'll still be affected. The POW block normally only affects people who are grounded, right? This means you're technically grounded when you're falling from your down air. Which I guess makes sense considering you can kind of jump off the anvil whenever you want. But this action of jumping off of your anvil does not actually give you your double jump back. So it's not like you're entirely grounded, as touching the ground would refresh your double jump. I guess they just considered how broken it would be for him to have a lot of double jumps by just using the anvil off stage. Now speaking of off stage, Canned Stupidity asks if Steve can save the crab from Garden Hope from falling to his demise. It's a tragic occurrence that's very likely to happen anytime you play here. If the bridge in the center of the stage gets broken, when the crab, whose name is Peckish Aristocrat by the way, waltzes through, he'll walk over where the bridge once was, its removal unbeknownst to him, yet another scourge humanity has rained upon nature. However, can Handyman Steve save the day with his litany of wood and stone? Unfortunately, no. Peckish Aristocrat will obliterate Steve's peasant blocks and continue to plummet to the Earth's core. So there's no way to save the poor guy after you've shattered his bridge. Also, apparently for some reason the lava bucket doesn't affect the bridge. Like, at all. Speaking of Smash Bros, Yahaya Mice asks what Steve's mismaterials do when you change stages from Stage Morph. We went over this in the last video, but the way miscellaneous blocks work is that each stage only has 1. For most stages this is dirt, but for some others it's different, like ice for Summit, wool for Magicant, or sand for Tortimer Island. And as you can see by the background footage, this does indeed include the Omega variants. Yahaya Mice is asking what happens when you go from a stage with dirt as your miscellaneous block to a stage like Magicant with wool as your miscellaneous block. Here we are on our normal dirt stage, and as we can see everything is in order here. But when the stage morph happens, leading us to Magicant, you'll notice that everyone's inventories change from containing dirt to containing wool. So they just outright change what you have stored up rather than allowing you to get both wool and dirt, which is pretty interesting. Very important things to note are that you cannot build anything during the stage builder transition phases, so you can't place a wool block and then expect it to turn into dirt after the transition. And if you place blocks before the transition, they'll disappear once the transition starts. You'll notice that you lose your ability to place blocks a few seconds before the stages start changing too. Next is this little fact from Gruger Russ regarding the Bomberman Spirit fight. Going to the past again, we once covered how the Cuphead Spirit fight would have you fighting Mega Man normally, but would then change to be a Mii with the Cuphead costume once you finally purchased it. But here, with Bomberman, Gruger has reported that the Spirit fight still has you fighting against Toon Link, even if you have the Mii costume purchased. Now, I tried to get the Bomberman Spirit on my Spirit board for a long time, but since I lacked the doohickey that lets you shuffle primary spirits, and couldn't ever find any in the shop, I just decided to take their word from it, since I don't own the Spirit at all. Eventually I'll play through World of Light so things like these are easier to test, but yeah, probably not. So yeah, the Bomberman Spirit fight still has you fighting Toon Link instead of updating it to fight a Mii with his new costume. And personally, I don't really think this is an oversight. The Bomberman Mii costume is for Mii Brawler of all things. No bombs in their toolkit at all, while Toon Link at least has his down special to cover that base. So I feel like they just thought it would be more fitting to leave Toon Link, a character who has bombs, than Mii Brawler, a character with no explosions at all outside of their explosive kick, I guess. Also, I didn't know this at first, but changing your Mii's favorite color is what will change the color of your Bomberman costume, which is a feature that I absolutely love. Oh, before we move on, fac_u_2 responded saying that this is apparently also true for Min Min's Spirit. The old Min Min Spirit that was in the game before her release, as you can see, still uses corn instead of Min Min. This one I have less of an explanation for, since even these conditions down here could work well for Min Min. Maybe due to how unique she is, the idea of the anime favoring specials doesn't really work, since Min Min doesn't really have any specials, just left arm and right arm buttons, but who knows. Next, Greninjude97 gives me a fact about Steve's ledge animation. That is, as many folk probably know, when you look toward the offstage while against the ledge, your character will do a cute little "oh god get me away from this endless pit" animation. And Steve's animation is him simply crouching, like this. It's very likely that this is just a direct reference to how crouching in Minecraft will prevent you from falling off of a block. Or in other words, the ledge. Also, look at this seed I spawned into. There's just a whole floating island that contains the pillager outpost. It looks sick. But getting back on track, Gamer of Bravery has given me a quick fact regarding Steve mining on the train tracks from the Spirit Track stage. If we give Steve a superstar and head to the front of the train, then start mining the tracks, we can see that you don't actually get anything. Now, if you face the train, you will start getting materials, but that's just because you're mining the train itself. Mining just the tracks seems to give you absolutely nothing, which I hadn't ever seen before. I then got curious about Port Town Arrow Dive, another stage with a fast-moving, damage-dealing road. And while it was hard to get the timing, we can see that when Steve is standing on the moving road, he is mining the material just fine. I guess this might be because the stage is meant to stop at times, so the material is just like coded in, while in Spirit Tracks you never meant to be on the tracks. So I did try this on Mute City SNES as well, and you can also mine the road here, despite never being able to stand on it without a superstar. So I don't know what's going on with the Spirit Track stage, but it's pretty unique. Okay, this is a fact that I've seen a few times, so I'm going to go over it briefly. Awesome Sauce tells me something about Steve's Final Smash and the home menu. In a past video, we've discussed how Joker's and Hero's Final Smashes would keep the cutscene going, even when the home menu has been pulled up. Well, apparently this is also the case for Steve's Final Smash. Going into the home menu once it's activated, waiting a bit, and then going back, will have the Final Smash be over. There's still a lot I don't really get about this whole thing, like why some Final Smashes are allowed to happen and not others, and why some Final Smashes use MP4s or whatever they're called and not others, but ultimately it's still cool to know. Finally, for latest patch note stuff, Fruit Loops has given me a fact about some potential stage builder game crashes. I've set the stage to test them all here, but I didn't notice anything crashing my game. But when I read the patch notes for the patch 9.0.2, which is very recent, and after the comment, you can see one note where they, quote-unquote, fixed an issue where sometimes you would be forced to end a battle on a stage created in Stage Builder. I can only assume this means that they fixed these various methods in which one's game might crash. If this is correct, this includes, but may not be limited to, Steve mining on a rotating curved shape, walking on overlapping shapes, and grabbing overlapping edges. You notice that I'm outright not even grabbing a ledge here at all, despite how both materials allow you to grab onto the ledge. I'm not sure if this is how it always worked, but it's pretty likely that this was the cause for a crash in the past. So that's pretty interesting. Also, in the stage builder testing mode, the crafting table seems to always spawn directly in the center of the stage, no matter what the stage's size is. But in a real game it spawns normally, where you do. So when you have a stage with no mass on the center, the crafting tables will just fall into the void at the very start, until they eventually reappear. And no, crafting tables cannot go through portals. Alrighty, so it's been over a month since Steve's release, so while I have more things I could talk about with him, I think I'm just gonna briefly go back to covering Smash as a whole instead of just the new content. First up, Vigor the Sloth gives me an interesting fact about PK Thunder. That is, apparently the scaling of PK Thunder's projectile will affect the scaling of PK Thunder Tackle. So normally PK Thunder Tackle does 31.5%, but if you hit them with a projectile first, the tackle will only do 27.3%. The move's still quite strong, but this is really important to know, as juggling with PK Thunder is really common for Ness to do. For comparison, the tackle will KO Lucas at the ledge at 12% here, when fresh. But after using like 5 PK Thunder projectiles, it won't even KO Lucas at 25%, twice what it was before. Of course, the damage you get from hitting the projectile kind of offset the scaling, so it doesn't really matter that much, but you know. Moving on, you know how when you use the screw attack, your character has a unique jump animation that's covered with the electric effect? Well, if you jump on the boxing ring ropes while you have it on, you do said unique jump animation just without all of the visuals. The hitbox still seems to be around too, it's just the visuals that are gone. I had this fact marked down as something I got from someone else, but I couldn't find any screenshots of said comment or submission in my files, so I apologize to whoever sent me this fact. Lastly for this video, Epic Gamer, I guess, has given me a neat little fact about Street Fighter music on Battlefield. That is, the feature that has the Ryu or Ken stage song speeding up when you're on your last stock will also happen when you're playing on Battlefield and whatnot, if those songs have been chosen. Listen here. However, the Mario Easter egg with the timer speed up will not occur here, nor when the timer gets past 30 seconds or in sudden death. The same is true for the Moray Tower's Now or Never Easter egg, so I guess these two don't work on Battlefield, but the Street Fighter one does. And I think that'll do it for today's video. I'd like to thank my patrons Felipe Morla, Skully, Burbo, Raighne, Feurolant, Aman Shareef, Stan, LOONA, and Xammary. And now it's time for that end of the video rambling session that people watch for some reason. Maybe it's a TF2 footage, I don't know. The holiday season is going to be a nice refresher from the catastrophe that is 2020. Well, it's not really going to be a refresher since everything is still terrible, but I'm going to adopt the ignorance is bliss mindset for the duration of these holidays. My birthday was actually yesterday too, though I spent most of the day working on this video. So it goes, I can probably foresee something similar happening in the upcoming holidays too. But at least Minecraft has been giving out snapshots left and right. Considering how much content is in these snapshots, and considering the update is set to release in summer, it makes me think they're going to be adding a lot more than I once thought. And the way they've been handling snapshots, adjusting things according to community feedback has been lovely. And in terms of Smash, I don't really know what to expect honestly. Like I said earlier, Steve was released a little over a month ago, so who knows when the next DLC will be coming. They've updated the Fire Pass to say that all DLC will be released by December 2021, I believe. And with 4 left in the pass, that means we'll get either 1 right at the end of this year, or more likely we can expect 4 in the year of 2021. In contrast to the 3 released this year. So that's playing more longevity for the game, hopefully. Anyhow, with my Steve hype done, I'm gonna go back to actually looking over my facts forms for submissions, and using just general Smash facts. Got a lot of cleanup to do, but I should be fine. I'll use the comforts of the VTuber rabbit hole to help me get through. Make sure you keep yourself safe this holiday season, don't do anything stupid. Stay casual, and I'll see y'all later.